2025 is the year of backing yourself. Being able to back yourself, trust yourself, and decide for yourself is going to change your life. If you don't know me, guys, I'm Neeti. I'm everything self-development, confidence, improving their lives, your go-to brown girl. If you're not already subscribed, subscribe or follow me on Instagram and TikTok. In this video, we're honestly going to talk a lot about how to be sure of yourself, how to back yourself, how to be more confident in your own decisions and not always need external validation from everybody. So in this video, there's going to be 3 main chapters. We're going to talk about building trust with yourself. Then we're going to talk about putting yourself on the top of the pedestal. And then number 3 is just practicing it until it's engraved in your head. Okay, so honestly, something that I've just been like personally struggling with is being more sure of myself and more confident of myself and not really needing external validation. And I don't mean this in like the way of like how I look or how I act or like things like that. I think it's just more in terms of like paving my own way in life forward without needing necessarily encouragement or support or like people agreeing with what I'm doing all the time. That is kind of like what we're going to be referring to when we talk about this video. So a little backstory is that, for example, I was going to do my PhD in psychology. If you don't know, I do psych research right now, and I decided that I want to become a full-time content creator, and I decided to take a leap. And I have Indian parents, brown parents, and so me jumping and making this decision was obviously not really easy, and I didn't really get the most support from them. Maybe that's because I didn't understand it. It's just like culturally, like, you know, education is very valued in Indian society. I was strong enough to make the choice, but when it comes to comments, when it comes to not feeling good enough, when it comes to trusting my own gut and my own decisions and choosing my career and choosing my life partner and choosing like the way I want to live my life, I do kind of feel like I still had that like attachment or like needed that validation from them. And so then when I didn't get it, I would kind of feel like absolute shit about myself and I'd question everything I'm doing. And so I literally am like with you here struggling with it. Okay. Like this is like really recent. I think that what I've been learning, a reoccurring theme in my own life, is just been like learning that I need to be more sure of myself. I can't be waved and you can't be waved by other people making comments about you, judgments about you, them not approving of what you're doing, you know, whether it's like choosing your career, once again, your life partner, whether it's even just people making judgments of you. You can't be waved. You need to be more sure of who you are. And that's something that I've been working on. And I kind of have narrowed it down to like 3 things, right? The 3 different chapters. And so this takes us to chapter number 1, which is building trust with yourself. So obviously, like how I was kind of referring to parents, you might be thinking of somebody else or like just society or like your partner or whatever in terms of like needing validation or like wanting reassurance. I was obviously raised very like what my parents say I like really trust, and like they kind of have my back, and I almost feel like I don't know my own way without them. So if they don't approve of something I'm doing, it's like I don't feel good about it, or I don't know, I just like can't make a decision for myself sometimes. And that's not to say you don't emphasize or like give value to what your parents say. I 100% think so, but I almost was like so reliant that like if they didn't like something or approve something, like I would spiral and oftentimes might be waived from not doing it. Something that a lot of people don't talk about is like you have probably broken trust with yourself. Now, even if you don't think about this, you're like, what do you mean by that? Think about like your daily life. Like there are things when you think about trust, right? Think about it like with a partner or a friend. Trust has to be built, right? With yourself. You might go into a relationship trusting your partner blindly, or you might be like, you know what, I'm going to trust this person. They haven't done anything to make me think otherwise. But if you keep seeing them, let's say, for example, lie, not follow up on their word, what's going to happen? Your trust is going to be broken. And obviously, the more and more it's broken, the less you're going to trust them. Now, what happens is that this can happen with yourself too, even though it's not conscious, right? Because we don't think of it like, you know, we're not 2 people, but you kind of have to think about trust with yourself as 2 different people. Like, has there been times in your life when you have broken your own trust? So this could be things like saying, I am gonna not allow this person back in my life, this toxic person, and then you allow them. Even though you said that to yourself and you told yourself that, you still let them, you kind of broke your trust there. Maybe you said you're gonna work out and you're gonna go to the gym 3 times a week, and like you told yourself you're gonna do that and then you didn't. Doing things like this in your life, there's many instances and it's completely normal. You will break trust. And a lot of times we don't realize it, but like you probably have a broken trust with yourself. I've broken my own trust, I'm sure, many times. There was things that I knew were better for myself that I didn't do, or things I told myself I would do. And so when you don't have trust for yourself and you don't trust, just like you wouldn't trust your partner if they were like lying or not keeping their word, if you don't trust yourself, your relationship with yourself and being sure of yourself and not needing external validation to like reassure yourself or what you're doing, the trust within yourself is not going to be great. It's going to be a lot harder for you. And so what we're going to do starting today, starting from this video, is we're going to start building trust with ourselves again. So this is going to be like when you tell yourself that you're going to do something, you're going to do it. If you tell yourself you're going to apply for that job, you're going to do it. If you tell yourself, I'm going to show up for that friend tomorrow, you're going to do it. Not even about the other people, but more yourself. If I tell myself, I am not going to have sugary drinks 5 nights a week. I'm only going to limit it to 2 nights a week. I need to stick to that, and I need to trust myself. If I tell myself that, I'm not going to hang around this friend group anymore because I don't like how they're making me feel, I need to actually not hang around with them. If I tell myself I'm not going to go out and party and drink anymore, I don't think it's good for me, I need to actually do that because I'm building trust with myself. Start from today, and all these little things that maybe your gut or your brain is telling you to do, to not to do, things that you just are telling yourself, actually do them. Show up for yourself, and you will start to build that trust with yourself again. I think that this is the foundation to changing your relationship with yourself and being more sure of yourself. You really have to start building the trust with yourself. Once you start building the trust with yourself is when you're going to be like more sure of yourself. You're going to be like more confident in your decisions and the way that you approach life and what you've done, because you're like, no, I know I can handle that. I know I can handle that new business venture. Look, I can rely on myself. I'm consistent. I keep my word to myself. I know I'm not going to end up in a toxic relationship again because, look, I trust myself. When I tell myself that's not good for you, I listen to myself, This takes us to chapter number 2, is putting yourself on the pedestal. Okay, this is specifically, I think, for people who maybe you value another person's opinion or society's or Instagram's or somebody's opinion or what they think or judgment sometimes more than your own, or maybe just even a little too much. So, for example, with me, with my parents, still is, honestly. I think that there are a lot of things that if my parents aren't 100% with what I'm doing, I don't know if I can do it. I don't feel sure of myself. If my parents tell me something, my whole self-concept can deteriorate based on a couple words that they've said to me. Now, an example of this is my mom made a comment the other week saying that you're not as successful as your cousins are. She said that's just a fact. That's not a nice thing to say, right? But you know what? We can't control the people in our lives. She said that. Tell me why that sent me in a spiral. Tell me why I spiraled and my whole self-concept just went to shit. Tell me why I started to feel like I'm unsuccessful, I'm unworthy, I just felt not good enough, I felt like my parents don't love me, I felt like I was a failure, I felt like all these things that like I shouldn't feel about myself because I know I'm actually smart, I know I'm confident, I know I'm choosing a different career path, but I know that I'm going to be successful. Why did that all deteriorate? Because my mom said that to me. With parents, it's obviously hard. I put them on the top of the pedestal. Their word means a lot to me. So when they say something like that, that's harsh to me, it breaks me. Now, what I realized is that, for example, me doing content creation, it's just different from like what my parents are used to, what they think is a stable path. Maybe they don't understand content creation. It's just like a different journey. But I can't bawl my eyes out for 24 hours because my mom made a comment like that. My dad said another thing the other day. I can't be deteriorating. Somebody commenting on your Instagram or TikTok videos that you're ugly can't get to your head and take over your life. If some distant auntie telling you that you're fat cannot change your whole self-concept, and you can't start looking in the mirror and being like, oh my God, I think I'm fat. You have to have some sense of this is who I am and I'm happy with who I am and I'm confident in who I am to go about life and not be on an emotional roller coaster. And so what I want you to do is take whoever this is, whether it's society, it's Instagram, it's family members, it's your partner, it's your parents, take them off the top of the pedestal and put yourself there. No, I'm not saying disrespect your parents, your family, society, and give people no value. You can give them value. You can take what they have to say. Maybe they have great advice, but it doesn't need to deteriorate your whole self-concept. You are here. You're strong. These other people are around you and they can give you input, but this is not wavering based on what they say. This is not crumbling because they're hammering on me out here. I'm still strong here in my self-concept. I'm putting myself on the top of the pedestal. That's something that I'm starting to do. Meaning, my opinion is the one that matters the most. What I think of my body, what I think of my career, what I think of my values, what I think of me as a person, what I think of the way I live my life is number one. What other people think, followers think, random people in the street think, random family friends think, your partner thinks, all of that things is number two. Obviously, there might be a hierarchy, but like, that's not deteriorating who I am. My self-concept is still here. I still know who I am. I'm very thoughtful. I'm smart. I'm caring. I'm ambitious. I have good values. I'm family oriented. I know who Neeti is. I am not letting them tell me who Neeti is. My opinion comes first. All of their opinions of me comes second. Now, I know it's a lot easier said than done. Like, I'm personally still trying to put this into practice. It's hard when you've been raised putting somebody else's opinion maybe like equivalent to yours or above you. Like, for example, with me parents, like when you're young, like, you don't know, they know the world more than you, so obviously you value their opinion more. But as I'm getting older and I'm kind of like becoming myself, I'm like, no, Neeti, like, you have your own opinions. You know, you've done 24 years of life. There's a lot of things that you've achieved so far that you do know things. You know, that's not to say they don't know things, but I have to give myself more credit. You have to give yourself more credit. Now, this is going to take us to chapter number 3, which is practice. Okay, this is honestly the hardest step. It's really easy to hear these videos, read these books, until you have to put it into practice. So like I was just saying, like, you have made it this far. You, however old you are, maybe you're in your teens, maybe you're in your 20s, you've gotten through life. Maybe you've gotten through school, maybe you've gotten a job, maybe you've made it through friendships, maybe you've made it through breakups, maybe you've just, like, you have experienced unique things in your own life, and I'm sure you have achieved a lot of things, even if you don't think you have. You've experienced a lot of things, you've learned a lot of things, you've made it through a lot of things. Your experiences and you hold value. Now, I look at myself and I'm like, you know what, I've worked in a workforce, I've gotten a degree, I've moved out on my own, I've been through friendships, I've been through breakups, I've dealt with family situations, I've dealt with death, I've dealt with so many things in my life that, you know what, I think that I do know how to handle situations, and I do think, you know what, I do know quite a lot about life. Same with you. Make a list of all the things that, you know, you've been through and you've learned in this life. I'm sure you have something, you have some knowledge about life and experiences. So this is why I'm saying, like, give yourself some credit. Don't just put the other person and think society knows more, this person knows more, that person knows more. You know things too. And so I kind of really started, like, thinking about this, and I was like, you know what, I'm not to say that my parents, for example, don't know as much as, not to say that they don't know as much as me. They probably do know more. You know, they're older, they have more life experience, but I also know a lot too, so I can be more sure in my own decisions. So I've been kind of putting things into practice. So for example, I had somebody make a comment about, like, the way that I posted a video on TikTok and it being inappropriate, and I genuinely think that I have a pretty good moral compass. I'm sure you do too, right? Like, I had filmed this video and I didn't think there was really anything inappropriate of it. It was like a skit and it was just funny, it was cute, like, it was whatever. Genuinely, in my heart and my gut, I didn't think that there was anything inappropriate about this. So somebody close to me said, this is really inappropriate, I don't like it. And I was very taken aback because, like, I never in a million years would have expected that. Like, I was like, it's not inappropriate though, like, what do you mean? And I genuinely did not understand where they were coming from. And then I started to kind of spiral and I was like, what if it is inappropriate? Okay, wait, what if, like, other people think I'm inappropriate? What if I'm just, like, all my videos are coming across like that? What if people think I'm, like, wild? And what if no one marries me because I'm wild? And I'll go in this spiral of self-doubt, and, like, it's just, like, not where you want to be. You need to get yourself out of this. And then I had to, like, think about it, and I was like, you know, I'm gonna put everything I've learned into practice. In my gut, I'm trusting my own gut, my own judgment. I don't think that this is an inappropriate video. And if I don't think it's inappropriate and I'm okay with it, then I'm okay with it. Somebody else might think it's inappropriate. Somebody else might think it's cringe. Somebody else might think it's people can have a million opinions of things that you do, of your career path, of who you chose for your life partner, of just anything, how you look, whatever. If you think in your gut and your own intuition that you're doing the right thing, or you want to be doing what you're doing, then leave it. I had to say, you know what? I'm not going to respond to this person, or you know what? I'm going to yes, and I'm not going to let it get to me. I'm not going to sit there and cry and overthink what they just said and go delete it and do this and do this and do this. I'm going to practice being sure in myself. And trust me, it's not fucking easy. I was ready to spiral like this, and in fact, I wanted to call up my mom, call up my friends, call up my brother, and be like, yo, do you think this video is inappropriate? But I was like, no. Why do I need everyone else's validation and everyone else's opinion? I'm going to trust my gut. I'm okay with this video I posted, so I'm okay with it. I am reassuring myself. You need to reassure yourself. You need to tell yourself what you're choosing to do in your life is okay. There was a guy I knew who was Hindu. He was Indian, and he came from a very religious Hindu family. He decided that he wanted to marry a Muslim girl. Now, this is interreligious. His family wasn't really okay with it, but I had never seen a man that confident in himself. He was like 26. He wasn't even that old. He was like, you know what? People had a million things to say. Not only did his parents, his in-laws, his siblings, his friends, society have a lot to say about him going out of his way to marry somebody from a different faith. He was so sure in himself. He was like, okay. He took what everyone had to say with a grain of salt, but he was like, you know what? At the end of the day, I'm choosing to make this decision. I'm choosing to live with the consequences if there are any. I had never seen somebody make that kind of a leap and be so confident and happy in themselves. Now, was it the right decision? Who knows? Nobody knows, or I don't know where their marriage is now. This was years ago. But at the end of the day, I remember looking at this guy and being like, wow, like he is sure of himself. That's not to say go against your parents and go against your family. He still had a lot of respect, but he was like, at the end of the day, I think I've thought about it. My gut is telling me this is the right thing to do. And if there's consequences, I'm living with them. That is kind of the attitude that you need to go around with in life. You need to practice reassuring yourself. You don't need your friend to tell you that your Instagram photo, what Instagram photo to post. You don't need to tell your friend to tell you if you look fat in this photo. Trust your own gut. You don't need your friend to tell you if you're doing the career path. You don't need your parents to tell you if you're doing the right career path. You don't need your aunts and uncles to tell you if this is okay. You don't need anybody to tell you anything. Just practice like being in a situation where maybe somebody says something to you, or maybe you have like a moment of self-doubt. If you're looking at a photo and you think you look fat, and be like, no, I'm going to reassure myself in this moment. You know what? I think I look good in here. I don't need other people's opinion. And that's it. Don't go around asking to reassure yourself that you did the right thing. Just practice it. And that is how you're going to, going back to chapter number 1, build trust with yourself. Okay? So that's everything for this video. I really hope that we're actually both on this journey, because I'm not even going to sit here and say that I'm like perfect at this, because I'm not. We're both going to work to build trust, build rapport, be sure of ourselves, be more confident in our decisions, and back ourselves. The 2025 is the year of backing yourself. Okay? Okay. I'm done yapping. Cheers. All right, if you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe.